I'll try and squeeze in another positive as I see it, and that revolves around Liam Scales, because I don't know what you think, but I thought he was outstanding again at the weekend. I thought he was absolutely brilliant in Belgrade. Thought he was top notch. And look, it's very early days, of course, but if you're putting a gun to my head, I would say he's probably Celtic's player of the season so far.
Yeah, and do you know something, Dan? I'm delighted you've actually raised the point about Liam Scales, because I think every team in football is always going to have a scapegoat. They're always going to be a whipping boy. And at the minute, I think Liam Scales, for whatever reason, finds himself as a Celtic whipping boy. Yep. He's not everybody's favourite. He's always the one when you look at the team and where there could be upgrades. It's always Liam Scales that's picked out. But he has been outstanding this season, and he seems to have really formed a solid partnership at the back with Cameron Carter-Vickers. I think Celtic have only conceded one league goal. I think it was away to Kilmarnock this season. So that shows you that, defensively, Celtic they're solid. They're absolutely fine. Middle to front's the problem. I think the issue with Liam Scales is he's not a sexy name. All right, he's not a sexy name on paper. If he was an Italian, then the fans would love him. I also think he's probably his biggest weakness is his distribution. I think he can be really sloppy with the ball at times, and that does let him down. Mm-hmm. He can put Celtic under pressure with some kind of wayward passing. I do think he struggles to break the lines at times as well. But if you're to assess his performance on a purely defensive level, I mean, he's been top draw this season, and like you say, we're not going to be casting our votes for Player of the Year at this stage. But if you were to base it, if you look at kind of Player of the Month, for example, then I think Liam Scales has got to be in the reckoning. And obviously Brendan Rodgers has stuck by him. Maybe eyebrows were raised at the start of the season when Liam Scales was pitched in against St Mirren for Flag Day. Yep. Obviously, Austin Trusty, you might recall, Dan, he had a really impressive pre-season. He was excellent, actually. And you had the feeling that, this is the player that Celtic spent £6 million for, and you'd have thought it would have been Trusty and Carter-Vickers who would have kind of kicked off the season. Mm-hmm. There might be reasons for that. I know Austin Trusty's got an issue with his foot, which fingers crossed he'll be back in the match day squad and in training over the coming weeks. But yeah, obviously Scales has the trust of the manager, and he's hardly really put a foot wrong defensively. I mean, even remember that game at Ibrox in the 0-0 game. The amount of headers, he always seems to be in the right position at the right time. Yeah, the amount of headers, the amount of clearances, the amount of blocks. He really put his body on the line, and he's been like that every single game. So yeah, I think Liam Scales deserves all the credit in the world, and he's certainly not to let himself or Celtic down this season.
I think you've hit the nail on the head when you say that he's just not a sexy name, and I would even take it further and say that it's because this guy, was on loan at Aberdeen, and even when he broke into the Celtic team, he was on the cusp of going to Aberdeen and loan again. I think I'm right in saying he brought in. But I was watching the other night against Belgrade, and I was thinking, like you said, if Celtic had paid £8 million for Liam Scales, and he was from, I don't know, Finland, as you say, Italy or whatever, people would be raving about him. People would be absolutely raving about him. Like you say, his anticipation, the blocks he puts in, the headers. Mm-hmm. I felt it was important to vocalise that, because, as you say, he's been a bit of the whipping boy, and I don't really get it. Like, I can understand maybe at times last season, as you say, he gave the ball away a bit easily. Yeah. Surely any Scales haters out there are gone now. I guess maybe people listening can give us some feedback if we're going over the top a wee bit, but who knows.